Hi guys, Brooke Potter here. I don't have much of a reason for sharing this story, but I have a lot of these types of stories that I've experienced, and I thought it might be fun if I put it out there and maybe we could have some fun with it in the comments. Let me know if you like this sort of thing, and I will actually do a couple more videos like this. Now, many years ago, when I was still in Trinidad and Tobago and still part of a Christian fellowship, I got invited out to a friend of mine's 30th birthday party that was going to take place in the major party strip of my country called Arapita Avenue, in a bar slash pub occasional club called Stumbling. Now, my friend is not a Christian, she's not a believer in any kind of capacity, but we've known each other for years, and I felt very honored that she would invite me out to her 30th birthday party. So I went out to the bar and I met her and I met her friends there. I ordered myself a Guinness. I sat down and all of us just started to have a good time. Now, while I was there, I did notice that there were two other girls from the same Christian fellowship that I was involved with in the same location. And they were kind of skulking around and like they were unsure what I would think, if they were known to be in this location or something like that. But I hailed them out very publicly and they eventually came over. I invited them, to meet the birthday girl and a couple of her friends. We had a little chit chat and then eventually, they went off. Now, shortly after that, I kind of packed myself up. The bar thing really wasn't my scene back then. And, I went home and I basically thought that was the end of it. Now, lo and behold, the next day, I actually got into a rather public spat with the pastor of the fellowship that we were all involved with. Now, ironically, the spat was directed on my Facebook wall, and the two girls that were also there, it was noticeably absent upon their Facebook wall. But nonetheless, a couple of the people in the church decided to jump on this bandwagon of Brooke bashing for the unforgivable sin of drinking alcohol. Or for some of them, it was drinking alcohol in public, and they really couldn't make up their minds. Now, the irony of this, of course, is that the pastor's wife had openly said that she enjoys a nice glass of red wine every so often to relax. And I've been to the pastor's father-in-law's house, his wife's father, where, red wine and alcohol was freely offered with the meals in his own house. So, the fact that I was singled out for this inexcusable act was, a little bizarre to say the least. Now, I got every Christian cliche thrown at me, all of the Puritan verses taken out of context, as well as the slippery slope fallacy that, oh my gosh, if a Christian just saw me drinking, they're instantly going to pop up in hell, or at least be on the highway to Alcoholics Anonymous, and all these other good arguments. Now look, I am fully aware that there are people out there that struggle with alcoholism. I have a number of alcoholics in my own family, many of whom are very, very close to me. But that said, people who, if they just see somebody drinking, are going to fall into that type of struggle, they generally have a very hard time living in a place like Trinidad and Tobago, where drinking of alcohol is practically a religion. And there are banners of advertisements for drinks and drinking all over the country, where that person is just, if that's all it takes, they're going to have a very hard time living in that country. And furthermore, if there are any Christians with that level of struggle, I highly suspect they're not looking and peeping into the bars on the party strip, just looking for me as an excuse to fall into their struggle. But nonetheless, all of these accusations were thrown at me. The conversation got so ridiculous that the pastor eventually said, why did I only have 2 beers? Why didn't I just buy a case of beers and drink them all? I eventually put an end to this thing by saying, well, look, you're basically accusing me of being a wine bibber and a friend of sinners, to which I am in fantastic company, and which nobody actually could respond to after that. I basically shut down the entire conversation. But this was one of the early encounters that I had that started to show me the cracks and the hypocrisy that is involved in this kind of institutional Puritan Christianity of the West. And, this was one of the things that actually led me to eventually leave that fellowship altogether. I mean, there were a number of things, but this was actually something that kind of stood out early on. Now, for anybody who is interested on my views on Christians and alcohol, I have written extensively about this subject. I will put the links below. You're free to read my work on the subject. But in summary, I do believe that self-control is a fruit of the spirit, and I don't think there's anything wrong with a Christian enjoying an alcoholic beverage responsibly. Also, a fascinating read on this subject is Stephen Mansfield's book God and Guinness. It's a fascinating look into a bit of church history and the story of Arthur Guinness, the founder of the world famous brewery, and his encounter with John Wesley in the 1700s that sparked the drink that transformed the nation of Ireland and subsequently major parts of the world. And it's a fascinating read. I will also put links for that in the description below. So guys, let me know if you like this story. I've got a lot of these types of stories. We could probably share a couple of them. Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Thanks again for watching, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.